So how many products do you guys have?
Right now, so our main focus is on our Millie's sipping broth. And what it is broth in a tea bag. So imagine making a cup of broth, taking 4 minutes to make a cup of broth, just like tea, but it's a savory hot broth. You put the tea bag, we call it a broth bag, but you put it in a cup with hot water. You let it steep.
That was LLance Kezner. He's co-founder and owner of Keep Life Tasty. He's been passionate about creating food and beverages for over 14 years now for stress and anxiety. If you ever wanted to learn how to create products from idea to the marketplace from scratch, like Apple, this is the episode for you. So welcome to another episode of the Online Marketing Secrets Podcast. I'm your host, Lopez. So let's get started.
Sit back and relax and get ready for another exclusive episode of the Online Marketing Secrets Podcast with Lopez.
This episode is brought to you by the best AI software online called Goody. That's Goody. Goody will help you create all content for your blogs, websites, newsletters, articles, ads, and even pictures, LinkedIn posts, Twitter, you name it. All you got to do is go to lopezthesane.com/Goody. That's Goody. And the best part about Goody is absolutely free. That's right. It's free for the first 7 days. You can cancel at any time. Goody will help you create all your contents for your blogs and websites online. And it's 100% absolutely free, full access for the first 7 days. All you got to do, just go to my website. That's lopezthesane.com/Goody. That's Goody. Or just click the link in the show notes and get started today. So, where you from?
From Bellevue, Washington.
Oh, nice.
Just outside of Seattle.
That's nice. Yeah, I've traveled up there quite a bit because I used to have a cousin that lived in Seattle. He actually used to play in the NFL. He used to play for Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
We once had a good team at one time.
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah. I mean, they on the rise. They making a comeback.
I hope he played when things were going well. Did he play in the Super Bowl?
No. He played in the days where they were bad.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately. Yeah. So how'd you get into I would say the product food business? How was it a family thing or something that you always wanted to do? How'd you get started?
Nothing we have done was planned. Really came out of a job layoff in 2009 that kind of kept propelling itself forward. My wife Lori and I were always into creating ideas, entrepreneurial ideas. We were working for other people. She's a teacher. I work for a tech company. And we always thought that, at some point we would take one of our crazy ideas and make a product out of it or something like that. And the opportunity came in 2009 when I got laid off. And we both decided, let's just take one of these ideas and see if we can kind of make a business out of it. And that's really how it started. And we love cooking. We're both creative, and we didn't know anything about the food business at all. So that was a perfect recipe to try and start something.
Yeah, because a lot of times I found when we know too much about something, we tend to hold ourselves back. We like, oh, I know somebody else that did it. I don't think it's a good idea. But when you don't know anything about it, sometimes I think that's even better, because you don't know. You kind of going in with the blind. You're kind of like, hey, let's just try it and see what happens. There's no fear. You know what I mean?
Well, Lopez, I call it blind. It's really blind optimism. I mean, seriously. And we've been doing this for, like I said, since 2009, and I still consider myself, not very knowledgeable about the consumer packaged goods or the food business on purpose. I let people who are experts in certain things maintain the experts. The only thing I know how to do is sell and create crazy ideas. And, that's what I'm really good at.
Yeah, that's good. I kind of got interested in hard products when I started looking at Shark Tank.
Okay.
Because I didn't. Of course, we go to the grocery store and places like that, but we don't know. The average person walking around and still don't really know how the product got on the shelf. We don't know. Yeah, we know it's in the jar. They probably got manufactured and they got the nice little cover or whatever. Yeah, we know all that, but we don't know what it takes to get in the store, and you have to pay for space. I didn't know any of that stuff, So that's why I like the Shark Tank. When I started watching Shark Tank, I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting how it happens,
Yeah, I think with Shark Tank especially, and we have a little experience with that show. They boil down about an hour and a half of conversation into 4 minutes. Yep. And there's a lot that goes on after the show that people don't really know about. But there are some fundamentals that they talk about, which are what is unique about your product, what makes it stand out, and why do people need it, not want it, but need it, which is really, really important. And I think, a lot of the sharks, they're tuned into, what's going to make it, get them their money back as quickly as possible. Yeah. And it's not a Me Too product. It's not something that's been out there. Oh, someone has already done another barbecue sauce. I always like to talk about barbecue sauce, right? Everyone's got the best barbecue sauce recipe in the world. But what's going to make it stand out, and who's behind it? Because the personalities of the people and the persistence and I think the ethics behind your work, what motivates you is critical. Because if you can have the best idea with someone who's so impatient that they want to, make $100 million in a year, it's just not going to work. You have to have a different goal and a different mindset. And that's why I like to be blindly optimistic that, people always ask me, they say, how is it going? And I go, people keep buying our product. And, that's the best thing that can happen. That's the absolute best thing that can happen.
Yeah. So how many products do you guys have?
Right now, so our main focus is on our Millie's sipping broth. And what it is broth in a tea bag. So imagine making a cup of broth, taking 4 minutes to make a cup of broth, just like tea, but it's a savory hot broth. You put the tea bag, we call it a broth bag, but you put it in a cup with hot water, you let it steep, and then in 4 minutes you have a clear, vegan, super flavorful broth that's made out of herbs, spices, dehydrated vegetables. And so we have 4 flavors, and that's what we're focused on. So we have tomato basil, spicy tortilla, Thai lemongrass, and delight pho. And they're all just, amazing flavors. And the whole idea is that, people who are looking for a hot beverage, they, tea and coffee and cider and cocoa. Well, what about the one thing that we've been drinking for thousands of years, which is broth?
Yeah, which is probably the reason why y'all decided to go with that, right?
Well, that was so my wife, she was a teacher, and she used to take a bouillon cube with her to school so that she could have it in between classes. She wanted something hot. She wanted a snack. She wanted something that wasn't going to ruin her dinner, right, later on. And so she thought, a bouillon cube, right? It'll make me feel good. I'll feel satisfied. And I said, let me make something that's a lot healthier for you, because the bouillon cube is meant for cooking. There's tons of sodium. There's all kinds of preservatives in it. And so I put together dehydrated vegetables, some herbs seasoning, and she said it tastes really good, but let's make it in a tea bag so I can make it really quickly. So she and I worked together to kind of create this idea, and we took Lipton tea bags. We ripped the Lipton tea bags open, dumped out all the tea, put our mixture in, and we made about 10 of them, and she took them to the teacher's room. And people, they went crazy over this. And we looked at each other and thought, okay, there's something here, because nothing like this exists at all on the shelf. There's, nobody has a savory hot beverage that, satisfies you in this way.
Yeah, so y'all had a proven concept right there.
Well, it was based out of a need,
Yeah.
It was her need. It was her need, and we didn't know if anyone else, if it resonated with anyone else.
Yeah. Well, at least within that school, at least.
At least, yeah. I mean, we had a very small thing. So, within the first 90 days, we took that idea and tried to bring it to the market as quickly as we possibly could. We created what's called a minimum viable product, right? Which is basically what can we create that we can sell to get as much feedback as possible as quickly as we possibly can. And so within the first 90 days, we created the rest. We created the flavors. We found someone who could make it for us. We took it. We had a booth at the Pike Place Market across the street from the original Starbucks. Literally on the street, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, I would go there, put up a tent, and sell this, and it was like 90, it was in the summer, it was 90 degrees outside. So we thought, okay, if we can sell the product where people will pay us money in these circumstances, then we really have something. And it did. It kept propelling us forward.
Nice. So after that, people bought, and at what point did you say, hey, let's go big? It was always in our mind that, okay, it could be a very big category. Okay. So you look at the hot beverages, coffee, tea. It's like $150 billion market just in the United States. Okay. We thought, okay, so, is that our market, or is the soup market our market, which is, about 2 or 3 billion. And we kept presenting it to buyers, like at specialty stores or grocery, and no one really knew where to put us, because we were kind of crashing these two categories together, right? We were disrupting these two categories. So we knew that there was something big out there, but all we could do
is to focus on the customer's need, right? So who needed it the most, and try to figure out why they needed it, and how often are they going to want this, or how often they're going to need this for that. So we really didn't focus on going big. All we focused on was continuing to serve those people, and that kind of grew on its own. Not to say that it wasn't painful. There were lots of painful parts of that we had to go through in order to kind of get where we are today. And we still are growing. I don't think you ever, I think one of the things that it really, that it taught us, Lopez, is that you need a fundamental base, because things happen and you gotta, you kind of get setbacks. And so you're constantly kind of growing and getting little setbacks. And if you don't have a firm base when you get those setbacks, it's a big problem.
Yeah. I don't think there's ever a finish line. You have to, it's constant change and no finish line. And if you're not comfortable with that, it's hard. It's very hard. Yeah. So how do you decide to come out with different flavors?
Originally we came out with tomato basil. That was the most popular soup flavor in the United States, and that's why we started with that. The other flavors were really influenced by our travels, by our kind of family culture, and what we thought tasted really, really good. And so, for instance, the Thai lemongrass and the Delight Pho flavors are our top. They're our top selling flavors. We just happen to tap into this need for like global flavors that people are really gravitating to. And during COVID, that really was, people were looking for that because they weren't traveling, but they wanted a taste of it. And so that just propelled it, to another level.
Yeah, that's for sure. So in times of, setbacks, and I guess things are going to happen. That's just life, right? How do you have the confidence to, hey, let's just keep going?
It's that blind optimism. Every couple of days, this is what happens, and this is what keeps us going. You would think, oh, is it the money? Is it the getting the accounts? Is it, all these things? The thing that keeps us going is the person who's going through chemo treatment for cancer sending us an email saying, your product was the only thing that got me through the day. I looked forward to it after my chemo treatments, and that's, it made me feel good. That kind of feedback, or the construction worker who says, I got sick and tired of bringing coffee to work, and I brought your broths, and it just made my life, so much better. That kind of feedback to us is really what keeps us going. And people, it's funny when, because sometimes people will call me, and I'll say to them, you're giving me goosebumps by telling me this, because number one, you don't know, I don't even know who you are. You found our product, and you took time out of your day to call us and tell us how much you appreciate it. That piece of it, I can't really put it into words. How important that is in what we're doing, and I think that also, a lot of people say, boy, if I called Campbell's Soup, I wouldn't talk to someone like this, or if I called it, Starbucks, I wouldn't talk to someone, like this, who's telling us that you're getting goosebumps because you love our product so much. So I think that connection with people, and like I said, we didn't start off by having that desire, but that connection is really what keeps us going.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what, like when it comes to these stores, like if you have a product, what how do you approach these stores?
Yeah, I think our plan was always to make sure that we appealed to whoever was going to consume our product first. Okay. Yeah. So that person was always the one person that we were going to please the most. Okay. And we would work backwards from that. So at first, we were very focused on selling directly to those people.
Gotcha.
At Pike Place Market, sitting there, in a tent, going to fairs and festivals, being, or selling online, right? Having our, a store that they could order from online. And eventually what happened was, we would get approached there would be a store that would say, hey, I heard about your product and I want to sell it in my store. And then that would lead to, hi, I have 10 stores. I think your product would sell well in, or a customer would say, hey, I just told this grocery store chain about what you want. And then we get a phone call from the buyer. And so it was kind of a little bit of give and take where we were seeking out eventually, right? We want to be in a place where people are going to go get it. But we needed to establish that firm connection with the person who is going to consume it, up front. And that still is our base, is to make sure, because the thing is that once you get connected to that person, they're going to want to seek out the product. And that's what the retailers want, is they want someone who's going to keep coming back to get the product.
Yeah, that makes sense, but I think a lot of people, I think they're first, a lot of people think they're first, they want to be in the stores. I think a lot of people, a lot of people I've met over the years, they look at retail as kind of like a shortcut, because they don't really want to have a direct relationship to the buyer itself. I've met a lot of people that would like that.
There are a few examples where that works. I mean, like a couple. Yeah. Out of millions. It is a great example. I heard about a product where they got into Whole Foods and the buyer decided to put, hundreds of that product, in the deli, like right next to where everyone was checking out. Of course, that's going to get you some notoriety right away. That's not always the case. What we have found is that if you don't know about the product, if you don't know the benefits, or if someone hasn't told you about the benefits, or you haven't experienced the product, even if it's you could go and see it on a shelf and never pay attention to it. Yeah. And that is the death knell of a product in retail. You're never going to get, the buyer's going to try you out once. And if it doesn't sell, that's it. They take it off and you're done, and you wasted that opportunity. But if you establish a connection with people who are going to seek it out because they need it, that is going to propel you. And it may not be as quick as you expect right off the bat, but it's all about building that pyramid, right? That base that gets you to the top, that is sustainable.
Yeah. I can use myself. I go to Walmart, Target, and all the time, and I see products on the shelf. I'm like, I never seen that before, but I don't know what that is. So I keep moving, because I don't know what it is. But it's been other times where I might have heard about someone has a product online, and they'll say, hey, you don't have to order directly from us. If you go to Target, you can get it there. Or if you go to, some store in my local area, you can get it there. So I said, oh, okay. Instead of just waiting on shipping, the product to get here, I can just get it the same day down the street. So yeah.
And it might be a better price too, because you don't have to pay for that shipping.
Exactly. So yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense to me.
I think a lot of entrepreneurs, there are people who look for shortcuts, and I think the problem is that all they focus on are the success stories that are out there all the time, and those are great models to look at, but the success stories don't tell you about all the issues that they've had getting to that point. We've been doing this for 14 years. We created this product, Millie Sipping Broth. We created it almost 12 years ago, and are just now getting into national distribution. And it's been very, it's been an amazing learning experience. But at the same time, I think that if we gotten into national distribution 6 years ago, it would have failed. It just wouldn't have done what we're doing now, or we wouldn't have been able to sustain it. We weren't ready for it.
Yeah, and plus the market was different. Yeah,
completely.
Yeah, it was different.
I mean, who knew? We were ready for broth in a tea bag, 12 years ago. How come the entire market wasn't? And we're still educating people about what this is. That they can reach for a savory hot beverage. It helps them with their wellness program if they're on keto. I lost like 6 years ago. I lost 100 pounds, over 100 pounds, and I used the broth to help me during that time, because to fight off snacking urges. And we have spent a lot of time with people telling us how they need it, how they connected with it, and where did they find it. And that piece of information is not readily available to something that is new to the market. And like I said, if you're going to create another barbecue sauce, there's a barbecue section in every grocery store. You're going to go there with every other barbecue sauce that's there and fight literally for eyeballs, and the likelihood of it succeeding is very low.
Exactly. So I know from time to time, I know you meet people and they say, hey, I got a product too. What do I do to promote it? What do you tell them?
First off, I think that no matter what you create, if you don't combine your personality with the product, then don't even bother. That's really critical. You've got to inject your personality somehow into the product, because that will come through and it'll appeal to certain people. And even if you think that you kind of are an outlier and who's going to connect with me, well, if you thought of the product and you thought of it differently than what's out there, that's going to appeal to certain people. So that's number one. So make sure your personality is part of the product. The second thing is that, like I said earlier on, make sure you got to find the people who need your product versus want your product. And that market of people might be really small, but that's where you start. And that's where you learn a lot of things. You learn, is the product what is it really the quality enough? Is the packaging enough? Is the price right? And is there a bigger need outside of this? And that small group of people may be all you need. You may discover that you're servicing that small group of people and there's nobody else doing it. And oh, by the way, You can make a livelihood out of it. So that's okay. But you gotta take the time to learn, where the appropriate fit is, and not rush yourself into thinking, oh, I'm gonna conquer the world all at one time. So those are the two things that I would really focus on, is personality and need.
Yeah, that's very good advice. So if people wanted to buy your product and reach out to you online, where would they go to?
Right now, you can go to our website, milliesippingbroth.com, or just sippingbroth.com. You can get our product on Amazon, and we just launched our product into half of all the Walmarts in the country. And in the soup aisle, right at eye level, next to the Campbell soup, you will find Millie's Sipping Broth. And it is, in fact, I don't think I have a box here, but if you look at our website, you'll see what it looks like. My wife drew the drawings that are on the boxes, and we dedicated Millie's. My wife her name is Lori, but her mom's name was Millie. And so we named it after Millie because she liked to bring people together around food, to talk about their week and to kind of, give people comfort, and bring the family together. And so we wanted to extend that idea through our product to people. So we call it comfort food in a broth.
Yeah.
There's a picture of Millie. Yep.
Yep. Yeah. The video is you and look like y'all in Vegas, right?
We won outstanding hot beverage of the year at the Fancy Food Show in New York. And so we were presented with this award. It was a pretty big deal. It was the first time a broth had ever won this award.
Okay. Yeah, so I highly recommend everybody go check it out online or at Walmart. There's Walmart all across the country, and you always have access to the web. So there you have it. Like, share this episode. All links will be found in the show notes. Until next time, we're out. Peace.